So this week we got to focus on anamorphic art, and that's anything with like an optical illusion, so hidden figures or different perspectives within the same image where you need to change your point of view to see everything in its entirety. One of the most classic examples is the ambassadors, which we looked at, and both the supplementing videos looked in greater detail as well. They focused on, of course, the skull that's in the center, that some people are describing and seeing as a feather or driftwood, but it is in fact a skull. And they noted that if you stand from a certain angle when you're looking at the painting, you can see that it's supposed to be a skull. But if you're from that angle, you don't really see the rest of the details in the photograph. So I think one of the big takeaways of this piece and anamorphic art in general is just the importance of changing your perspective, looking from all angles. You can't look at this piece and see everything as it's supposed to be seen. Some things are going to be hidden, some things are stretched out, some things aren't in proportion, and it's not normal. So in order to get the full rounded view and the full effect of what's presented in front of you, you need to be moving around and look at it from different ways, focus in on different parts. And I think that's undoubtedly like one of the biggest themes of anamorphic art in itself. Some of the other artists that were mentioned in the PowerPoint definitely focus on the same kind of things. Of course, it's not going to be the same exact message every time, but if you take a step back and look at the bigger picture and what they're trying to say, it's that you need to take a step back and look at everything from a different angle. So one of the artists that really stuck out to me was Gonzalez Day, which focused on the lynching in Los Angeles, I believe it was. And I think that is just absolutely fascinating. I looked at some of his other projects. He actually made a video of Run Up, which is like a preview for just one of the lynchings that he focused on. And that was really cool to see the perspective in another digital form instead of just the pictures and other things that he has on exhibit. Just taking digital art to a whole nother level. Talk about that, right? He actually made the video and you work with different angles. At one point you're looking at someone sitting in the back of a car. At another point it's like you're standing in the mob looking up at the tree, and it's just absolutely fascinating in my opinion. So whether you're talking about anamorphic art from the 1500s, or if you're talking about stuff that's being done today, whether it's a video, a painting, like Jen Holzer does projection art. So she does big quotes on buildings, and physically, in order to see what the message is, the quote says, you have to be so far back to be able to see the entire screen, and that way you're physically moving yourself back in order to get the bigger picture. And then she posts very controversial statements. So you're going to have an immediate reaction, and that's either going to be, what you agree with, what you don't agree with, why do you think it's correct, incorrect. But in order to read that statement and in order to form your opinion, you have to remove yourself and take a look at a different angle. So that's really my personal interpretation of anamorphic art and how that applies today and any other time period that has been applied.